Good morning. It's October 27, 2021. It's a SIG Node CI sub meeting. Welcome, everybody. Today agenda. Manu, you asked a question yesterday on Slack, and welcome to the meeting. Let's discuss what you have to ask.
Yeah, so essentially I was working on removing like a performance bottleneck for SIG storage, and that particular feature is available only on like the system call is available only on Linux kernel 5.6 plus. What I'm one of the asks on the PR until like since we were talking was basically to figure out a way to write end-to-end tests with the latest kernel. I think Tim Hawkins has it in conversations somewhere. Yeah, here. But this morning, Jan essentially asked me like if we can write unit tests by mocking the kernel system calls. What I wanted to understand was like if there is a possibility of like just getting like a latest COS beta or 91 or 92 and write like tests that can using Ginkgo, but specifically for the module rather than like providing a pod spec or not. So that I can test mount utils for the particular feature. I don't know if I made sense completely or not.
Yeah, I'm curious. Is like I understand you want to test the logic, and for that you can mock the system calls. But for a regular test case, like end-to-end test case, will this code path will be executed during the normal operation, or you need some feature flag? How does it work?
So this code path will run every single time if you have a persistent volume, or any volume for that sake, not just persistent volume.
Okay, so if you just run all the SIG storage tests on COS 93, you will be satisfied with test coverage, right?
Yeah, that is one way to look at it. The thing is that this particular function also has like a fallback to support like older kernels. So we won't really know like which code path it is going through. Another thing is that if we run like all the SIG storage tests on the latest kernel, it would slow down the entire test suite for others also. Like even now it takes probably like 2 hours or 3 hours, right? 2 hours to run the entire test suite. So I'm not sure like if that is something like the entire CI would slow down. So I wasn't sure about the cost and like the speed implications of those. That's why I was thinking of like probably we could just start off with mount utils, and when more use cases start cropping up, we can expand it to other kernels.
I'm not sure what you mean. Why is it slower?
Because now
Performance
you'll have to test for like both the older kernels and also the newer kernels. You cannot like, since a majority of our users are probably on like 5.4 or 4.14 today, and so we do need to, I think like removing those tests is not a good idea. So you'll have to like either duplicate those tests or something else.
So yeah, one option is just next items that I put here. COS 81 is currently is already out of end of support. So what we can do is to bump COS 81 to some other COS, and Oh, wait, let me release notes. Yeah, this is a COS version. So 81 is out of support already. 85 will be out of support December 2021. So maybe we can just switch to COS 89 for COS version 1 and COS 93 for other one. So we'll run all the tests in 2 flavors of COS, and this one is below 5.4 kernel, and this is above 5.4 kernel. So this will cover your scenario, right? Oh, it's 5.4 actually.
93 is 5.10, so that would be perfect. If there
Yeah,
are
but
already 2 versions
I mean,
running,
89 is already 5.4.
yeah, I need kernel 5.6 plus.
Oh, 6. Okay. Okay. Then yeah, if you just switch to COS 89 and COS 93 as 2 flavors of COS that we test on, it will cover your scenario, right? It will.
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, let's take a look at test grid. Do you know which tests you're running? So is that any persistent storage test?
It should be any persistent storage test.
Do you know which one is best?
Like it would touch any single path really. It's just like in the code path or mount, but subpath is the best one, I would say. It's fast and
So
it should
I'm
not
trying.
be in SIG storage Kubernetes. It was in Kubernetes / SIG storage in test infra.
Let me take a look at SIG Node. I think under SIG Node we also run some SIG storage tests.
I can give you the code at least.
Okay, we only run tests on one course. So either of those tests will work?
Yeah, empty
Okay.
del post path should.
Yeah, because we don't run node conformance in both COS images. I know that in Kubelet, if you go to like features, for instance, see, we run it on both COS, like COS stable 1 and COS stable 2. These are SIG storage. Yeah, there are plenty of SIG storage.
So if I can just switch it, like send a
Let's see
probably.
what, yeah, I cannot see where it's running. Yeah, it's running on both COS versions. So yeah, I think once we'll switch to these versions, like COS 89 and COS 93, you'll get at least these tests to run on both versions.
And that would be perfect for us.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know how to ensure that will keep happening going forward, because you like test coverage for this feature will be heavily reliant on which COS images we picked for you. So I think from SIG storage perspective, you need to put some kind of guards and understand whether you run all the tests or haven't run all the tests.
I didn't understand what you were saying.
So the problem is, like, let's say tomorrow we switch to COS 89 and COS 93, and you test your feature very well. But then going forward, like maybe COS 89 will update the kernel version to 5.6. So all the COS versions we test with already have COS kernel version larger than 5.6. So we're losing test coverage for older versions of kernels.
That makes sense. Isn't that the same problem with CRI also then?
I mean, it's a problem for everything. It just
Yeah.
how we decide on test matrix and how we watch for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to offer you as a
I think
way to ensure test coverage. Yeah.
no, I think your suggestion of moving to like LTS 93 as the second cost makes perfect sense. I don't know like how like Google does like cost builds, because I don't think so. They're like probably uh, change kernel version. That's my instinct for a specific cost version. So only when like cost versions get out of support, we could say like, okay, that's the case. So for example, what I'm thinking right now is like if 4 dot, we start by maintaining last two or three stable kernel versions by cost. So 5.4 and 5.10 LTS versions could be it could be a release thing where we guarantee like uh, some sort of stability test guarantees. Like 4.14 is moving out of LTS, so we'll probably remove it as a community. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just
I mean, in general, we were trying to why we use two cost versions is one is for latest and one is for oldest. So at the time we used 81 and 89, I think. So it was like latest available and earliest available. So that was the idea behind it. Yeah, I mean, whatever the case, I don't know how long do you want to keep this fallback logic. In a couple of years, it may be not needed any longer.
it's I think it would be there for like at least 5 or 6 years at least, because like a lot of providers uh, rely on like Kubernetes.
Yeah.
And what happens now is like uh, they sometimes can build their own kubelet and like put it into an older kernel version, uh, just because like of their use cases. I've seen or heard about this at least. So I think like it would be there for a long time. We may not test it because like those kernels are out of date, but we may not be able to remove that piece of code just because that would mean like that would basically break its kubelet completely.
Yeah, I just don't know how we can keep the code that we don't test. It will be interesting conversation.
I have
Yeah.
a suggestion here.
Yep.
I think from the PR, it looks like the functionality is the same across both kernels, except it takes a fast path and a slow path. I think we could basically add a Boolean to this so that the test case could be written to either choose the fast paths or the slow paths. And then we could add more test cases to the PR so that it could detect what kernel it's on and test both scenarios.
Yeah, so I can add to that actually a bit more. So we were talking about this on the PR. I think what would be the next step would be to like carry all of that unit tests regardless of fast path or slow path. Uh, and because we'll have like, so that would ensure like things are not breaking from a customer point of view. And because we'll have like, and I'm just thinking right now, probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, now that we'll have two stable kernels, one with like less than one on 5.4 and one on 5.10, we'll be able to test both of them. And that should not break anything. That should help not break anything for the customer regardless of whatever time it is.
I guess my suggestion is this, we could take the more modern OS with the latest kernel and test both passes with the slow one and the fast one. So you don't have to run them twice. Well, run them on each kernel once, but we could just pick the latest kernel to run both sets.
But how would we do that on unit tests?
I think Ryan's suggestion is to add a feature gate that will force slow pass.
Or some sort of other Boolean object, yes.
I don't
That way
know. Yeah, I see. So that customer gets a choice. Is that what you're trying to suggest?
well, the API would select the choice, and then we could write the unit tests to test both scenarios.
But the problem with the unit test today is that we only have one kernel, right? So on the node.
Correct. And so it would probably skip the fast one on that kernel. But once we upgraded the OS to the latest kernel, it would run the slow one and the fast one.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying. That's how the unit tests have been written right now. So I would basically add up one more function that does not really care. I can share my screen if you want to explain what I was saying. But essentially, yeah, I think we are on the same page. Like one test path would cover both, would not even care about slow or fast path. And the other one would care only about the fast path, was what I was thinking. It's slightly different, but yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like a slow pass function and then a fast pass function.
Yeah.
And then depending on the kernel that you have, one of them would be skipped or both of them would run.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay. The thing is that even the fast path is also heuristics. All we say is that if it is a mount point or not. If it is not a mount point, we fall back to do more heuristics on like to read proc mounts basically to determine if it's actually a mount point or not. So that makes it a bit more complicated there. So all we guarantee is the truthfulness, but we don't guarantee like the false. If it's false, we'll still fall back to the slow path and figure out. Yeah, I don't know of a good way.
Something to consider.
Yeah.
We can take it offline and like comment on this PR. But yeah, good news is once you upgrade the course versions to 93, and you'll have your test pass on latest.
Yeah, I can take up as the next action item on that if that sounds good to you. I need some help on how to do that, but yeah,
I can do it. I will include you in PR.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so let me share my screen again.
Okay.
Yeah, next item I wanted to it's a follow up from this. I was looking into that, and is there any thoughts about bumping the version of course? Okay. Thank you. So yeah, next one is I want to just show the perf charts. They are looking great. No degradations. Okay, and now let's do dashboard. Okay, Paco have this new PR. This PR adds functionality, but it also adds one end-to-end test. Anybody interested to take a look at end-to-end test? Yeah, I think this one is.
I can take a look.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, and with that, I suggest we go to bug triage. Is there any more topics on test part of the meeting? Okay, then. Let's go to bugs. Sounds like a support question. Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah, I talked with, with the one who opened it. So the problem is that under the kubeadmin, he's trying to set reserved memory via extra kubelet extra arguments, and currently it's failing to to parse because he's trying to to post all arguments under the single key, because it's like kubelet extra arguments. It's mapped from string to string, so he cannot provide like reserved memory multiple times because it will just override the same thing. And he's trying to provide all arguments, all reserved memory under the single string, and our parsing logic under the kubelet cmd doesn't know how to parse it correctly, and from it it's like failing. It is failing. In general, I think it's a bug in our parsing logic. He can work around it with a kubelet config file or with additional pull request under the kubeadmin, but I'm still thinking it's a bug.
Okay, so I will need to fish it out somehow. I lost it.
Okay, no problem.
Um,
I will anyway monitor it, because probably I'm the one who will fix it.
Okay, but yeah, let me put it back to. So you're saying it needs to go back into back.
Yeah, I think yes. Again, it's totally because of our parsing logic. And anyway, error message is misleading. So
Should I assign to you?
yeah, you can assign to me.
Thank you. Okay, not like this. Okay, so if sandbox you, I mean, yeah, I think it's a bug. I don't know how much more information we needed. Just, I mean, if it failed to delete sandbox, it wouldn't retry. Pod eviction timeout not respected. Yeah, this is already into need information. Yeah, I wonder what information we need from that person. Yeah, okay. So it says what's needed. Okay. Yeah, this needs information. Yeah, this seems pretty specific and straightforward. So even like link to the code. Does anybody wants to take a look? Why we don't respect configuration?
Yes, you can give it to me.
Cool.
H Y. No. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. I remember your name more better than I remember GitHub alias. Kubernetes hard-coded 4 hours timeout and documented. Yeah, I think it's a documentation issue. Okay. Okay, only a few left, and we still have time. Limits applied by limit ranger to static pod are not an effect. So many issues about static pods recently. I wonder why that is. Is anybody just running kubelet as a, self-contained manager? Oh, I see. So it may be some sort of admission modification. So there are no limits on definition, but limits were added from API sides. Yeah, I don't know how much it is SIG Node and how much of it is API.
Could be just not documented well. I don't think this is all that valid to set limits and requests via the API side on a static pod. But
Yeah, but how will we differentiate on API side? Or maybe like on API side, it has to be differentiated.
usually, as far as I know, the static pod overwrites everything else. And it can't be modified by the API. That's how I thought it worked, but maybe it doesn't work that way. guess Clayton was pinging this issue too.
Yeah, I wonder what would be the right SIG for that. Is it API API machinery or something?
Looks like there might be a bug here with mirror pods being modified at admission time. So maybe we should keep it and triage that section of the bug. It's on comment. There's a comment number, but it was 2 days ago.
The fate of mirror pods. And like from 2015. Interesting. Yeah, I just want to apply another proper SIG to decide what needs to be done. So I think it's I would say it's API machinery. Do you think the same or?
Possibly.
Spreading. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to triage it. I think it's a bug because I mean it looks very strange, but possibly just feature request. Anyway, yeah, this next one. Wait. So they ask for non-privileged.
Yeah, they run share container is run as non-root, and once they like initiate debug command, they want that like the debug pod will have some privilege security context, but I know that the debug pod is created with the same permissions that the initial pod. So
Oh, there is a PR already.
It's 5 days ago. It's pretty new.
Yeah. I don't think it's going can be done through the PR. Okay. It's not a bug unless it's documented this way. So what is this doc? Yeah, I think at this stage it's not.
And probably it is require mostly a review from the security team than from the from SIG Node
Yeah.
team.
Security. I know how to ping them properly. Okay. Okay, let's put SIG security first and then use everything later. Okay. Okay, so we asked for more information and they said they cannot share more information. This is about capabilities is nice. That was enabled and privilege is true, but they still cannot create a thread. And it still needs information. Did they share the specific error? Yeah, I was searching for capabilities test, but we don't have many. We just test it with set capability. So I assume it should be enough testing. Okay, kubelet flag go logger. Run kubelet. Dynamic kubelet config.
Like it show only like flex parameters if you configured it via CMD flex, but it does not show the parameters configured via like static kubelet config file. I think.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see. So this is a config file, and okay. Now I understand. Yeah. I guess it's by design. Okay. Then sound like evicted prematurely. Yeah, I don't understand where the second SIG term coming from. There are some comments. Okay. I think we're done. What is it? Bugs. Oh. It's accepted. I just didn't move to proper column. And this oh, this for security. Yeah, I cannot triage it. Let's keep it. Okay, then we have 6 minutes left, almost at time. Any other topics for today? Any suggestions, comments? Thank you then. Thank you, Manu, for coming to the meeting. Appreciate your questions.
Thank you for helping.
Okay, bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a good
folks.
day. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye.